It's Friday, November 13, and this is your Barbados Today Evening News Update. Thanks for joining us. Authorities assure that the Sea Dream 1 cruise ship docked in Barbados' waters with at least 7 passengers who tested positive for COVID-19 is not a threat. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Kenneth George tells Barbados Today those passengers are being transferred to the isolation facility at Harrison Point, St. Lucie. The cruise liner, which has 53 passengers and 66 crew, returned to Barbados late Wednesday seeking the island's help after a passenger fell ill.
What we did was that the gentleman who was the most sick, he was transported to Harrison Point, where he is at the moment, and the other persons remain on the ship. The intention is, as Barbados has always said, that if you're sick, you shouldn't be in a space where it is not medical intervention or treatment, and those persons will be transported to Harrison Point today. And we are doing this basically on a humanitarian ground, and those numbers will not be reflected in Barbados' total.
Meanwhile, Dr. George has rubbished a viral voice note circulated over the last 24 hours about the coronavirus as totally erroneous. The message claimed there was community spread of the viral illness, citing that an elderly woman with no travel history or contact with tourists had tested positive for COVID-19.
For a person to come on social media and make a claim that is not grounded, and the Ministry of Health doesn't have any information to support that. It's just people being, untrue to themselves and untrue to the Barbadian public during a time of uncertainty. You don't catch. The words that were used were, she catch it at the Jordan supermarket. That's so erroneous. That makes no sense. You don't catch. COVID is spread by interaction with people, close and intimate interaction with people. Right? Yeah. So I don't know how you could go to a supermarket, don't go without COVID and come back from a supermarket getting COVID. Just makes no sense.
Barbados' tourism sector is in need of a major overhaul, so says Minister of Tourism and International Transport Senator Lisa Cummins, who suggests that the COVID-19 pandemic was the wake-up call Barbados and the rest of the world needed. Speaking during the second day of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Barbados annual conference, Cummins said the sector is so much more than bumper tourist arrivals.
Narrow conversations about visitor arrivals is exactly what we do not need. We call it heads in beds and bums in seats. That kind of analysis is for a time long past. Tourism is trade, and trade is tourism. Tourism as a service sector trading across all modes of supply, cross-border supply, consumption abroad, commercial presence, and the movement of people, including workers, has strong forward and backward linkages to every single sector, including agriculture, manufacturing, and the wider services sector.
Minister Cummins disclosed that government is planning to launch a new virtual marketplace aimed at taking full advantage of the tourism industry. This, she says, will help to monetize some of the island's offerings.
With people moving or not, there are revenue options to be earned. When people are exercising on their treadmills and they're in their homes and unable to go outside, why are we not using the images, the iconic images of Harson's Cave, of Welshman Hall Gully, for people to be on running trails? Why are we not using it for gaming? All those are monetization opportunities that are available on a 24/7 basis in a digital economy.
Barbadians continue to benefit from some of the cheapest electricity prices in the region. That's the view of the manager of regulatory affairs at the Barbados Light and Power, Adrian Carter, who pointed out that several other countries in the Caribbean are paying more for electricity. Speaking on the topic, electricity pricing and renewable energy opportunities at the ICAB annual conference, Carter disclosed that the last rate hike in electricity in Barbados took place a decade ago.
Barbados electricity prices, represented here in blue, continues to be very competitive relative to the rest of the region. If we take out Trinidad and Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago, they have petrol, chemical industry, and significant reserves in natural gas. If we take out Trinidad and Tobago, the average price of electricity in the region is well over 30 cents per kilowatt hour. And you can see here that Barbados, we continue to become competitive in the price of electricity relative to the others in the region.
Meanwhile, the government signaled today that it remains on track to achieving its goal of being carbon neutral by 2030. Andrew Gittins, the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Energy, said during the launch of the communications campaign for the National Energy Policy 2020 today that the implementation of smart energy solutions at government facilities have been reaping benefits.
Under the Public Sector Smart Energy Program, the ministry has installed over 23,000 LED streetlights in conjunction with the Ministry of Transport, Works and Maintenance and the Barbados Light and Power Company Limited. This is expected to reduce the electricity consumption by 4.3 megawatt hours, creating savings of approximately $1.7 million in government's electricity bill.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Meanwhile, the government signaled today that it remains on track to achieving its goal of being carbon neutral by 2030. Andrew Gittins, the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Energy, said during the launch of the communications campaign for the National Energy Policy 2020 today that the implementation of smart energy solutions at government facilities have been reaping benefits.
I, John Bricenio, do swear that I will bear true faith and allegiance to Belize and will uphold the Constitution and the law, and that I will conscientiously, impartially, and to the best of my ability discharge my duties as Prime Minister and do right to all manner of people without fear or favor, affection or ill will. So help me God.
And with that, Prime Minister John Bricenio was officially sworn into office by the Governor General. After 3 terms out of office, the People's United Party has formed the government, crushing the United Democratic Party in Wednesday's elections. PM Bricenio made history, becoming the first Prime Minister representing a division outside of Belize City. And as he was sworn in, his supporters gathered inside the Belize House compound in Belmopan. The Orange Rock Central Area representative greeted his supporters at the entrance before making his way up the hill with his wife Rosanna and children. His close family and friends were part of the event. Area representatives such as Curdle Hyde, Julius Espat and Kevin Bernard were present for Bricenio's swearing in. And after that was done, Bricenio shared his first words as Prime Minister.
I am lost of words as to how I could really and truly express my feelings at this moment. Feeling of gratitude first to our Creator, our God, and also to my family, to my colleagues, or candidates, or standard bearers, and to the people of Belize. The Governor General said it best, that God speaks through His people, and the Belizean people has spoken yesterday.
And the message was loud and clear. The People's United Party won 26 seats, a landslide victory. The margins were huge. The United Democratic Party won 5 seats, mostly in Belize City.
And as such, we respect the decision of the Belizean people. As of today, we are no longer PUP standard bearers, but we are representatives of the people. We are a government of the people of Belize.
On the international front, U.S. President Donald Trump has spoken publicly for the first time since the election was called for his rival Joe Biden. In a White House news conference on the U.S. coronavirus response, he insisted that he would not put the country into lockdown under any circumstances. But in a reference to the election result, he said, "Whatever happens in the future, who knows? Which administration it will be, I guess time will tell." Mr. Trump has yet to concede the election to his Democratic rival.
This administration will not be going to a lockdown. Hopefully, the whatever happens in the future, who knows which administration will be. I guess time will tell. But I can tell you, this administration will not go to a lockdown. There won't be necessity. Lockdowns cost lives, and they cost a lot of problems. The cure cannot be. You got to remember, it cannot be worse than the problem itself, and I've said it many times. And when you look at what happens during a lockdown, I just say it very loudly. It's horrible what happens with drugs, alcohol, depression, loss of jobs, business closures. It's a terrible thing.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.